Hello and thanks for joining us from our studios in Israel. I'm Aaron Porras here with ILTV's Morning Briefing.
Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas on Friday said that he intends to re-examine all agreements with Israel, including the Oslo Accords and security coordinations. Abbas also said that he does not intend to negotiate on the expected United States peace plan because of President Donald Trump's recognition of Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. Abbas told a group of reporters, quote, "We are dealing with three issues that we cannot accept: the situation with the U.S., the situation with Israel, and the situation with Hamas." While regarding the U.S., he said the doors to the U.S. are closed to the Palestinian people, adding that until it takes back its decision against the Palestinian people, no Palestinian is to meet with the American leadership no matter what their role is. Abbas then continued to say that the future is dangerous and he has no more strength to fight but will not end his life as a traitor. Quote, "I can say no, and I have Palestinian people beside me that can say no." Additionally, Abbas was in Egypt to meet with President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to discuss the failed reconciliation between his Fatah group and terror group Hamas in Gaza. Egypt has been acting as a mediator between the two factions, but the two have been rivals since 2007 when Hamas ousted Abbas's Fatah from the Strip. Finally, in Egypt, Abbas also said that he was now ready to travel to New York City in the near future to assume the chairmanship of the Group of 77, or G77, at the UN, a coalition of 134 developing nations that often work in tandem and represent nearly 80% of the Earth's population. Both the United States and Israel have expressed their deep opposition to the appointment, however, which will grant the Palestinians more rights at the United Nations. While Palestinian Authority President Abbas, among other things, was mulling the cancellation of security cooperations with Israel, the IDF and Shin Bet forces were hard at work over the weekend, responding to multiple threats. In a series of raids across the West Bank, over a dozen suspects of terror-related crimes were arrested. Saturday night, a Palestinian gunman opened fire on an Egged brand bus driving from Jerusalem to Beit El in the West Bank. The driver was lightly injured from glass shards, and now, as this is just another in a series of similar attacks in recent weeks, Egged drivers have announced their intent to strike. They've also demanded that if nothing else, they be allowed to change the routes towards safer areas. Chairman of the Israeli bus drivers organization, Israel Ganon, explained that many drivers are simply considering quitting outright as, quote, "our blood is not free." Well, immediately following last night's shooting, Israeli forces entered the nearby villages of Al-Bireh and seized video footage of the area. In the clashes that ensued, however, the PA Health Ministry reported a Palestinian man being injured by IDF gunfire Saturday night. He was allegedly hit in the head by a rubber bullet, suffering a skull fracture and internal bleeding. IDF forces only confirmed the raids and not the injury, though. Then later, overnight Saturday, 10 other Palestinians were arrested and taken in for questioning by the IDF and Shin Bet, suspected of involvement in terror activities. Though it is unclear if these suspects are related to the bus shooting, as the IDF is still searching for suspects involved in the 3 previous shootings in the area over the past month. These attacks include the shootings at the Givat Asaf and Ofra junctions. Speaking of which, 17-year-old Mohammed Barghouti from the West Bank village of Kobar near Ramallah was detained on Friday by the IDF, suspected of being involved in the 2 shootings with his 2 brothers, Asem and Salih. Salih, suspected of the Ofra shooting, was killed in a shootout with the IDF on December 12th. Asem, who shot up Givat Asaf the next day, killing 2 soldiers, is still on the run. According to a CBS interview with Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, Israel and Egypt are also cooperating on security in the Sinai against the scourge of Islamic State or ISIS militants. Perhaps hinting that Egyptians aren't yet ready for this partnership, though, Egyptian government officials requested the interview not be aired. After all, having fought 4 wars with Israel in the past, the growing ties with Israel have already been cause for division within the Egyptian parliament. Still, it's not clear that it was this revelation that caused Egypt to request the cancellation of the airing. Egypt and Israel have gotten a lot closer over the years, with Sisi and Prime Minister Netanyahu even having met at least twice, and at any rate, the joint defense of the Sinai wouldn't be too surprising. Egyptian forces are still struggling to rid their country of the extremist group, with 2 bombs being found just this weekend near a Coptic church in Cairo. Islamic State insurgents regularly target Coptic Christians, tourists, and Egyptian security forces. And in this incident, 2 bombs were found inside a bag on a rooftop near the church. During attempts to defuse them, one of them went off and an Egyptian police officer was killed. 2 more officers, including the commander of the bomb squad, were also injured by the blast. Finally, back to Israeli politics, controversial Arab lawmaker HANIN ZOABI announced this weekend that she will not be running in the upcoming Israeli elections. In a parting statement, ZOABI, who is from the Balad Party, one of 4 parties that make up the Joint Arab List, explained that there were those who appreciated and supported my actions and what I represented, and there were many more who hated and fought me and my opinions. And it's true. Politicians from across the political spectrum expressed their joy over her departure. ZOABI has long been one of the most controversial members of Knesset, having, for example, joined the 2010 Gaza flotilla and justified Hamas terrorist actions. Meanwhile, a new Arab party has just registered to participate in the upcoming elections, called New Horizon, which says it's an Arab centrist party that seeks to improve relations between Arabs and Israelis. In related news, all eyes are now on former Likud defense minister and IDF chief of staff Moshe Ya'alon, whose new party Telem is reportedly being courted by parties on the left. He's supposedly in talks with former IDF chief of staff Benny Gantz, as well as Yesh Atid leader Yair Lapid, while Labour Party leader Avi Gabay, who is plummeting in the polls, has urged all parties to unite under his leadership. Then, according to a Chadashot news report on the right, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is considering removing Education Minister Naftali Bennett and Justice Minister Ayelet Shaked from their ministerial positions ahead of the elections. This after Jewish Home Party members of the Knesset asked Netanyahu to remove the duo from their posts because the portfolios belong to the Jewish Home Party. And last week, Bennett and Shaked announced their split from the Jewish Home to form Hayamin HaChadash, or the New Right Party. Netanyahu hasn't announced a decision on the matter, but is reportedly considering it. His only concern, supposedly, though, is that firing Bennett and Shaked at this time might make them political martyrs.
That's all for now. I'm Aaron Porras, and see you later with our main daily broadcast from Israel at 2 p.m. Eastern Time.